Fourth is to direct the CEO to expedite the RFP on the provision of shelter services in Fort Bragg, and if warranted, proceed with the closure of the Fort Bragg Animal Shelter. And again, that's a reaffirmation of action that's already in the budget. And I will add in here that the intent is not to exclusively limit to those issues. There's been a lot of ideas thrown out here today. The CEO is taking, as you stated, Mr. Chairman, pervious notes over there, and I assume that he'll be able to return with any and all options for us to consider in addition to these.
Thank you for restating those items. Any further discussion at the board? Okay, are we ready?
Just to comment, and I
Yes.
think by adding the fifth item there, it
Takes care of-
satisfies my concerns, and I appreciate Supervisor Delbar's efforts to move this along. Thank you.
Well, sure.
Oh, and if that wasn't clear, I apologize. That was always the intent.
Well, before I call for the vote, a commentary by the board chair. This has been the most contentious board budget in my 4 years. This will be my last board budget. I hope this contentiousness has not been caused by this chair, but by more close scrutiny of each board member and learning and proceeding through the budgetary process in an effort to keep the one thing that we're all sworn to do as number one, and that is to provide for the citizens first. I got a little heated earlier, and I do apologize for some of the things I stated, but it was out of frustration for us maybe fading on that number one issue and keeping the citizens first. And as I just said, I apologize for some of the things I said, but it was the passion there of trying to keep us on track of why I said that. And we are now back around to calmer heads, cooler, better thinking, and I think this is a real breakthrough to get to here right now from where we were at 12 o'clock or 11:30 this morning, so, or 1 o'clock, et cetera. So I think the points have been heard very clearly, that there are some areas that still need some examination, but this budget and these items as stated in this motion moves this board forward in keeping that number one goal, and that's looking out for the citizens. And so I thank the board members for their passion, their heated discussion, their doggingness of bringing issues forward, and I won't back down from that. So it's just a big thank you to where we're at. Without any additional comments or commentaries, I'm going to call for the vote on the motion. And as we've done throughout the day, let's go to the buttons, please. Okay, motion passes 4-1 with Supervisor Smith dissenting. Supervisor Pincher,
Yeah.
comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Actually, I believe I've been through more contentious budget hearings in my former service on this board, but, you know, I really believe this is a successful process here for two reasons. Once we have adopted a balanced budget, which is what we have to do. It's our job to do that. There's parts of it none of us like. Parts of it all of us like. But, you know, the biggest thing that I really think we're doing as a board is all the board members are taking a more active approach in the budget process, because, as I've said many times, the budget process is the work plan for the county. And frankly, when I was on the board before, I served with some colleagues that didn't really look at the budget process as that important. They looked at it as a bunch of numbers, and it's more than a bunch of numbers. It's what you're going to do in this county for the next year, and then you just attach the numbers to it. So the work plan is foremost. And the issues, we brought a lot of issues. We've given the CEO and his office over there, they don't exactly have a staff of many over there, but we give them a lot of things to look into. And what we've done here, if we've done nothing else, besides adopting a budget. We've turned this budget process in tight economic times in basically a year-long process. I mean, this following week, or tomorrow, the CEO's office will basically start working on new budget ideas to get us through next year. And I think that's great. We need to stop. We can't wait till the end of the year and worry about what we're going to do. You got to get ahead of the game. And to me, that's the success story here, is that's what we've done. We've turned the budget process into a year-long process. And whenever we can talk about and address the issues before it gets a wreck, we're going to have a better chance of surviving in tight economic times. So I really, I'm not critical of this process. I think it's been a great one. I'm really pleased with some of the issues that's been brought up in the conversation. I mean, from all my colleagues. So I look forward to this year-long budget process because it's our work plan for the future.
Okay, thank you very much, Supervisor Pinches. That concludes the actual last item on our agenda today. There is one additional item I'd like to hear from the board on, and that is we have a workshop scheduled for October 14th. I'm not sure if there's actual items on that workshop or not.
Board meeting.